Brian Flores suing the NFL. Why? Because he believes the Rooney Rule is a problem and that he wasn't hired because he is black. And then there were some other reasons as well, but that is a huge part of it. Big news. I'm sure many have heard it. If not, buckle up. Brian Flores was told they would, by the owners of the Dolphins, they would pay him $100,000 for every game he lost. And they wanted him to tank. And he did not tank. And they did not like that. That was one of the reasons he didn't get along with the GM and owner. One of the discords that we just mentioned, one of the issues is they didn't get along. Well, they didn't get along because they wanted him to tank and he didn't want to tank because he had too much pride in winning. Another big issue is there was the whole Bill Belichick text message thread. Right. Bill texted him saying, "Congratulations on the new job with the Giants. I heard that you're their guy." And then he goes, "Thanks, Bill. That's what I want to hear. I don't interview till Thursday, but that's all great news." And then Bill goes,
"I fucked up. It's supposed to be Dayball." Yeah.
Right. Like, well, he says, like, "Well, congratulations. I've heard nothing but good things." And then Flores goes, "Bill, just to double check, are you trying to text Dayball or Flores? Because this is Flores." Then he leaves Flores on red for 2 hours. Like, they had all been back and forth immediate. And then all of a sudden after that text, it was a 2-hour wait. And Bill Belichick replies, "I fucked this up. I was meaning to text Dayball. Sorry about that." And then Flores goes, "Thanks, Bill." Flores wasn't going to be interviewing for 2 more days. He still had to wait for 2 more days. So the Giants knew who they were going to be hiring already 2 days, but because of the Rooney Rule, they had to interview at least one person of color. So they brought Flores in. However, some of the evidence that's being discussed, because some people are like, well, maybe they knew Dayball was their hire. They just had to follow the rules. Well, since the Rooney Rule's been in play, the Giants have never interviewed a person of color more than once. They've never interviewed more than one person of color. And on average, white people that they've interviewed have gotten between 2 and 5 interviews. And they have interviewed at least 5 to 8 white people. So the Giants, I think they are kind of getting exposed here a little bit. Yes, I think there is a huge issue. There's currently only one black coach in the NFL. That just doesn't make any sense. When baseball has more black coaches than the NFL,
sure,
it just doesn't make sense. Obviously, I think I've said this on a race topic before. I'm just a white dude, so I don't have as much stance to say.
White dude.
I'm just a white dude. So, like, I don't have as much of a voice on these topics, but I think it's ignorant and arrogant of people to say that there's not an issue. I think to say that there is not an issue with NFL coaching right now, that they're just hiring the best guy for the job. They don't want to feel like they have to hire a black person just because they don't want to get in trouble. They should hire who they want to hire. I understand that argument. I understand you hire the best person for the job anyway. But when you're only giving one interview to one person of color, you're not trying.
Right.
Like, you're really telling me Joe Judge would have been better? Like, Bieniemy wouldn't have been as good as Joe Judge? Like, yeah. You're honestly telling me, like, these guys that aren't getting positions wouldn't be better than a lot of these coaches that are getting positions that shouldn't be getting positions? I just think that's just ignorant to say that there's not a problem at all.
I'm very happy that the Vikings organization had a lot of diversity with the people they were interviewing. Like, just off the top of my head, you've got Jim Harbaugh, which I think was just kind of like a
that was a personal relationship interview.
It was like a last minute thing, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't expected. It's just like, let's bring him in. But like,
unless you listen to the Glaziar Gambol, because 2-3 weeks ago I reported it that they potentially would. I said that I have been hearing that Jim Harbaugh's coming in, but I don't give that any weight.
Right.
Maybe I should have given that a little more weight. Anyway, continue.
D'Amico Ryans, Pat Graham, which was a Kwesi, whatever, but it's
Kwesi himself.
Right. Kwesi himself, yeah. D'Amico Ryans, Raheem Morris, like Kevin O'Connell, sure. But, you know, four of the candidates, or three of the 4 final candidates got second interviews, and 2 of them were of African American descent. So I'm glad the Vikings are not afraid, or
they're actually doing their work.
Yeah,
they're actually giving everybody an equal opportunity. Their equality is actually showing its like it's being given. Like they are being equal to people,
Right.
which the Giants are not. No matter how you want to spin it, the Giants are
Yeah.
not being equal. And that's the big thing with this whole Flores lawsuit is the Giants are a big part of it. The Dolphins are kind of part of it. I can't remember who else Flores interviewed with this Texans, maybe.
Texans is still open for that job, and that throws another ripple into the Deshaun Watson situation because Deshaun himself said he wants to team up with Brian Flores somewhere. So
right, and people are saying this is going to cause Flores to never get a job again. I've heard multiple people say, I've heard from former players say that that's absolutely true. I've heard multiple former players also say that that's not true and that he still will get the job, even if he wins his lawsuit or they settle. I don't think he'll settle, but I think no matter what, he does have a chance to get a job again. If anything, the team that hires him will be applauded for hiring a guy that was willing to stand up for himself. I think the stuff about him not getting along with players is the only concern I have about Flores as a coach. Otherwise, we mentioned it in our Brian Flores video. Feel free to go watch it or go back and listen to it if you're listening on Spotify. We've mentioned it before. Flores turned coal into diamonds. He turned useful players into gems, into valuable people. So he was a great coach, and the fact that he wasn't even given an equal opportunity, I understand why he's this upset.
The fact that he didn't want to tank is kind of ugly in the Dolphins' part too.
Super ugly, and the fact that other coaches, the Bengals, the Browns, Hugh Jackson said he was paid $50,000. I think Marvin Lewis said he was paid to get to tank games. Adam Gase wasn't; he just liked to. There was just
did it for free.
So you got all these different coaches that were being told that they should tank. And I think a lot of that needed to come to light as well. And we all knew that tanking occurred, but getting this confirmation is kind of interesting. So I've listened to, I would say, 4 different podcasts. I've watched multiple different national TV shows talking about this topic. While I know people say don't ever send people away, try to keep people listening, keep people watching what you're doing. If you want to watch somebody talk about it perfectly and the situation of race in the NFL, First Things First with Chris Broussard and Nick Wright and Kevin Wildes and Jenna Wolfe. Chris Broussard and Nick Wright have a back and forth on the topic, and they discuss it perfectly. Chris Broussard has a very, I respect him a lot, honestly, just what he's done in his career. And Chris Broussard takes it from an example that as a white guy I never thought about, and he talks about it's a basis of intellectual racism that black men are always considered not okay for the cerebral roles. For a while, black men couldn't be quarterbacks, they couldn't be offensive centers, they could only be coordinators, not head coaches, and that the goalpost keeps moving, and that all of it stems from white people are smarter. And if I could send you to anywhere, if I told you outside of us, that was kind of the Cliff Notes version, but if I could send you anywhere to listen to this topic outside of us, I recommend First Things First. Listen to Chris Broussard and Nick Wright. They provide good insights. I think it's very educational, but I hope Brian Flores does get a job in the NFL, whether it's coordinator, head coach. I really hope he's not completely blacklisted and removed. Yeah. So I'm glad he's standing up for himself. I think anybody that has the opportunity to should. Yeah, that's all I got on that topic. Do you have anything else to add, or should we move on?
Let's move on.
Move on.